Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what this sweater looks like on me. It's large, it's larger than what I would have liked it to be. I did not make it to size. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Knitting and Manifesting with Joe. It's good to be back with you on another episode. As you can see, I have my sweater on my desk and I'll be wrapping it up in a few short moments. This has been an exciting project. Let me show you what it looks like. This has been a fun project. I was going to list pros and cons about this project. I was going to give you this elaborate list with pros on one side, cons on another side, and share with you what I enjoyed about this project, what I did not enjoy about this project. But overall, instead of giving you a pros and cons list, I'll just give you a summation of what this project meant to me. When I first started my knitting journey, I knew I wanted to do a sweater. I have been, and still am inspired by my daughters because they are fiber artists. And some of you know my daughters. And for those of you who don't know who my daughters are, I have a daughter named Kapi Kali. Actually, I'll give you their names. So I have twin daughters, Kalila and Kahila. And I have a third daughter. Her name is Malika. So Kalila's YouTube channel name is Kapi Kali. That's Kopykali, Kapi Kali. Kahila's YouTube channel name is Handmade with Kaye. And Malika's is Mr. Bobvin. So I've been knitting for a little over 6 months, and this is my third project. The first project that I did was a sock. Second was a beanie, and now this sweater. The next what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it a little smaller so it's a better fit. So this fit is significantly larger than my body size. So I'm definitely going to step it down and make it a little bit more accommodating and more proportion to my frame. This has been an exciting journey. Knitting is interesting in that I did not get a lot of other things done that I wanted to get done because knitting is addicting. No. Thank you, future self. This is my past self, and I am going to be working on my sleeve. Let me show it to you before I take this off. So with my future self, you saw the completed sweater, but this is what it actually looks like. Hold on. The body is complete and I'm about 33% done with this left sleeve and I should be finished in a few hours and I'll get started on my right sleeve and I'll knit, put on some music, and here we go. So here's what just happened to me. So I'm knitting and I'm in the groove, and I didn't realize that I've ran out of yarn. And so I have to get another skein and add it, but look at how little that I have left. I'm going to attach more yarn right now. I'm going to attach another skein, and I will be right back. Hello, I'm back. I have attached my other skein. So I'm good to go and let the journey continue. Something interesting happened to me last night. I was dreaming and I was aware that I was dreaming and I was in hell, like Hell. I was in hell and like a place. And I was there with a host of other intelligent beings. So humanoid looking beings and other type of beings, but all of us were sapient and sentient beings. And we were all facing judgment. So the dream started with all of us being seated, and we were in this large, massive, immense, grand arena type building, like a coliseum. And although we did not see the face of the entity that was speaking, we heard internally. So it wasn't like a PA system where you have an announcer at a sports game where you can actually hear someone speaking loudly. We all heard the same voice, but we heard the voice from within. And we all knew that we were being judged. And once again, I knew I was dreaming. And I said to myself, wow, I'm in hell. I've been condemned to hell. Like, man, I've lived a decent life. I have not hurt anyone, harm anyone. Why am I in hell? And I resigned myself to my fate. I'm like, okay, if I'm in hell, I'm just going to make the best out of it. So the other entities I was sitting near to, we were all talking to each other. So we weren't speaking with our mouth. We were communicating through our minds to each other. No one spoke the same language. And the interesting thing about this dream is I did not recognize anyone. So after that scene of us being seated, people in front of me, I saw a lot of them crying because they were all being judged and our turns were coming next. So we can hear speaking, but once again, the voice spoke individually to us while everyone can hear what was the sentence that was being rendered down to you. So my turn hadn't come yet. And I told myself, I don't like this feeling of being judged. So I'm going to get out of here. So the next scene that appeared was everybody, all of us who were in the Coliseum, we started running. So I wasn't running initially. So everyone was running, and I saw everyone running because I was hovering in the air, and I can see everyone running, and everyone was running to escape judgment because judgment was coming. So it wasn't like fire and brimstone and anything like that. It was judgment. People were scared and fearful, and you had a lot of people, they were just fighting, and the fight was within themselves. So everybody is running. So I'm moving with everyone as they ran. So I'm not running, but I'm floating in the air and I can see people running. And they were beings of all size. The Hulk is what, 8-10 feet? Marvel's Hulk, for those of you who need reference. So the Hulk is a giant specimen of a person. And I saw other beings from other worlds that dwarfed him. And I saw this being grabbed him and just tossed him on the side. Giant being that was maybe 30 feet tall. I saw another being came by and like stomping him like a bug. He didn't die. He just got right back up and kept on running. So everybody was in the act of running away from judgment. Once again, I'm aware that I'm dreaming. And I kept asking myself, Joe, why are you in hell? I'm like, I'm in hell. Like, I'm in hell. Like, I'm not supposed to be in hell. And yeah, but I found myself in hell and I'm with the crowd and I'm trying to escape judgment. And then I said, you know what, let me go down. I'm in the air. Remember, I'm in the air. So I said, let me go down to the ground level. So I swoop down to the ground level. I can feel everyone's dread. I can feel their fear. Like, I can feel it. I can feel their panic, their alarm, their distress. And everyone that passed me by, I just saw the look of horror in their faces, knowing that they're facing judgment. And they are looking at me like, hey, we're all in this together. You're facing judgment too, bud. And a part of me felt like, no, yes, I'm in hell, but I'm not here to face judgment. So I decided it's like a part of me couldn't help but to run. So I started running with the crowd. And once again, we all running to escape judgment. So I'm running with everyone. And while I'm running, I'm thinking of an escape. I'm like, how can I escape this state of hell? I'm in hell. How can I escape this? Joe, you actually in hell, man. You're in hell. Like, dude, what happened? And I'm trying to analyze my life. Like, did I not live a good life? Like, why am I in hell? So I'm running. And once again, people are fighting. They're fighting each other. People are not going down. They're like, man, I'm not going down out like this. And people are trying to pick fights. And the ones that are strong, someone stronger would just come and just like destroy him. But no one died. No one could die in hell. So someone would get destroyed and just continue running. No one stopped running. We all were running. And so I'm running. And I said, no, I'm going to stop. So I stopped again. And I stopped and I said, I don't want to feel what they're feeling. So I said, you know what? Let me take flight. And at that point, I realized I can fly. So I took to the air. I went up. And I'm watching everyone run. Everybody's running forward. So I'm flying in the same direction that the people are running. And as I'm flying, I felt that I needed to come back down to earth. I'm like, but I don't want to feel what those people are feeling. I'm like, I don't want to feel that. So I came back down to earth. And then when I stopped, I felt the presence of someone behind me. Now, we are running. So, of course, you're going to feel the presence of somebody, but this feeling was different. It was not a feeling of dread. It was not a feeling of hopelessness. It was just feeling a different feeling than what I had experienced being around all of these people. So those feelings of dismay, uneasiness, disquietude, horror, I did not feel that within me, but I felt what people were feeling until I came back down to the ground and the place was like covered in darkness and light. So we were running away from darkness. So darkness was behind of us and there was a glimmer of light in front of us, but it wasn't light enough to see what was in front, but it was like the setting of the sun, but it was not hopeful. There was nothing about that place that was hopeful. Everything was mired in hopelessness and knowing that demise was on the way. So I felt a different presence around me. So I stopped and I looked and I saw this female. And she had a common appearance. And I asked her, I say, who are you? She said, I'm Purpose. So we all communicated telepathically, mentally. And she said, I'm Purpose. I'm like, you Purpose? I say, what is Purpose doing in a place like this? She said, you brought me here. I'm like, I brought you here? She's like, yeah. I came because you brought me with you. And I'm like, why would I bring you to a place like this? She said, that's for you to tell me. And I said, there is no escaping from this. And she repeated, there's no escaping from this. And I'm like, can you lead me out of here? And she said, no. I can only follow you. I can't lead you. And I'm like, what do you mean? So I said, you came here, so you obviously know this place and you know how to get out of here. She said, no, you brought me here. You brought me with you and only you can lead us out of here. And I'm like, but your Purpose, you should be able to lead me out of here. She said, no, I came from you. And I didn't want to argue. And once again, we are running. So I'm running, but I'm not running. I'm moving with the crowd as they ran. And we both moving together. And I'm telling her, I'm like, I need to get out of here. And I'm like, your Purpose, lead me out of here. She's like, I can't lead. I can only follow. And I'm like, okay. And I'm saying to myself, you're basically useless to me. And we're communicating telepathically. So she obviously heard what I said. She's like, I'm only useless if you are, because that's what you're projecting. And I'm like, okay, I can't say that again. And so I'm speaking to Purpose, Purpose. And Purpose said, I said, but why am I in hell? Purpose said, this is what you chose. This is the place you chose to be in. And I'm like, why would I choose to be in hell? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I choose hell? I don't want to be in hell. I don't enjoy the concept of hell. She's like, well, this is where you brought me. And if you did not choose hell, I would not have been here. It would have been somewhere else. So I did not resign myself to the fate of being in hell like the other entities did. Everyone accepted their fate of being in hell and receiving judgment. I accepted where I was, but I didn't accept the judgment of being in hell. So anyway, Purpose and I kept going back and forth, and I said, I have to get out of here. Can you lead me? And she repeated again, no, I can only follow. So I took to the air and I went as high as I could, and I saw like a split in. So from the ground, when you look up, all you saw was not the sky, but you saw an opening straight into space. So there was no atmosphere. When you look up, you just saw darkness, and so it was open space, no clouds, no atmosphere, nothing like that. So we looked up and we just saw space, and we just saw other worlds. So I went up as high. I flew as high as I could, and I saw like a rip in the fabric of space. So I said, you know what, if I fly toward that and I can get in, I will escape. I flew toward that partition in space, and I was able to fit just in time before that partition closed. And as soon as I got through it, I ended up back in hell. And I was like, I'm stuck here. So my physical body in bed where I live, like me, I knew I was dreaming. And I rarely have these dreams where I know that I'm dreaming. I mean, I can count on my hand how many times I've had like lucid dreams. So I'm aware that I'm dreaming, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to stop the dream to get out of hell. If I'm in hell, I'm going to work this out. So I found my way back on land, on the ground. Everyone is still running, and people are still fighting each other, being destroyed, and their regenerative self came right back. So no one could die in hell. So everyone was running away from judgment. And while back on the ground, I felt the darkest, eeriest presence behind of me. And it was the darkest darkness I'd ever felt. I did not see it, but it was so palpable that I became extremely emotional in my dream. And I'm like, this is actually happening. I'm facing judgment. Like, wow. And a part of me on the inside was like weeping. So physically I wasn't crying, but inside of me, I was distraught. And Purpose looked at me. I'm like, why can't you help? She said, I'm Purpose. She said, I only follow. And she said, listen. And I'm like, listen? She said, yeah, listen. So I stilled everything within me, and I listened, and I heard a voice said, go. And it was Neville Goddard. Neville told me, go. And I'm like, go, where am I going? He said, go. So I started running with everyone, and I'm like, okay, running is aimless. Running is pointless. Let me fly. So I tried flying, and I could not fly. I lost my power of flight. And I'm like, Neville, you just said go. Why can't I go? He said, go. So I started running with everyone, and everyone was running in a straight direction. So when I said everyone, I'm talking about millions and millions and billions of people. I can see everyone. I can see their countenance. I can see their expression. I can see and feel everything that they were feeling. And everyone is running straight. And every time I attempted to run, I would run, and I would be running in a direction that curved to the right. And I would stop, and I'm like, there's nothing over there but doom. So we were running away from darkness toward doom. So we knew that we were running away from darkness toward doom, but no one can stop running. So I continued running, but every time I started running, I would end up right, curving to the right. So everyone is running straight, and if I'm running curving to the right, that means I'm going to inevitably run into, or somebody's going to run into me. So I started going and running to the right, and Purpose is with me this entire time. And so as I started curving to the right, interestingly, I did not collide with anyone. No one collided with me. And this giant of a being came to me, and he swiped as hard as he could to destroy me. And his hand just passed through me, and nothing happened. And he looked at his hand like, huh? I was supposed to kill this guy. And he just kept running. So all of this happened in the act of running. So he didn't stop running. While he was running, he tried to destroy me because once again, everybody's running. I continued in that direction, and then I got as far as I could, and I came to the edge of a cliff. And the cliff was not a sea or ocean of water, but it was an ocean of doom. It was an ocean of eternal separation from yourself. It was an ocean of eternal nothingness. And people were jumping to their doom. I was not the only one who went right. So I went right and realized that there were others who went right as well. But everyone jumped to their doom. And the same breadth and depth and height of between the earth and space was the same depth below when I looked over the cliff. That sea of nothingness. So I stopped and I said, okay, I saw this emanation of light just colliding with itself, just forming this sort of barrier between nothingness and where I was standing, like miles below me, but I can see everything. I had perfect sight, perfect vision, perfect everything. And I heard people saying, oh, if we jump in there, we can escape this place. And people would jump and they would just disappear. Whoop, just became nothing, faced their judgment. And I told Purpose, who was on the right of me, I said, Purpose, I'm not going to jump because if I jump, I'm going to die. And I didn't come here to die. And Purpose didn't respond. I'm like, why aren't you talking? And remember, we're not using our mouths to speak. We're communicating mentally. And Purpose is no longer saying anything. And I'm like, Purpose, and now I'm here. I heard the voice say, go, I'm at the edge of this cliff. Why am I not free from this? So I told myself, okay, fly again. So I attempted to fly. And this time my flight powers came back, returned to me, and I took to the air. And when I took to the air, I saw another means of what I thought was an escape. And I came right back down, like I was looped right back down to where I was. And I said, Purpose, why aren't you talking to me? And she did like this. And I'm like, so this is a symbol of the all-seeing eye. This is a symbol of you're living from your perfect self-expression. And she did that, and I followed. And then as soon as I did that, I heard her again. I'm like, why? What happened? She said, you're dependent on the physical senses to talk to me. She said, I can only communicate to you from your most noble and most perfect self. I'm like, okay. And so we resumed communicating, and I told her, I said, if I jump there, I'm going to be disintegrated and I'm going to merge with nothingness. She said, you're only going to die and disintegrate and merge into nothingness if that's what you believe. Then it dawned on me, wait a minute. Can I control everything that's happening here? And she can hear my thoughts. And she said, of course you can. You always had the power to. She said, everyone that's running, they're not different entities from other worlds and other beings from other time and space and dimension. She said, all of those are emanations from you. I'm like, from me? She's like, yeah. All of those beings that you're seeing, those are parts of yourself pushed out. Every single one. I said, that hideous looking monster is me? She said, yeah, that's you. I said, that giant that tried to kill this other person, that's me. She's like, yeah, that's you. She said, every single one, everyone came from me. They were all parts of myself pushed out. I say, wait, I can control this? So I put my hand out and I just stopped everything in its place. And the darkness that was creeping behind of me stopped. The doom, the impending doom that we were running toward, everything stopped. Every person stopped. Every entity, every being stopped. Everything stopped. Everyone stopped running. And I looked down into the state of nothingness that was miles below me. And I told myself, I have to jump. But if I jump into it, I'll perish, because I saw other entities trying to escape. They jumped into it and they just evaporated into nothingness. Purpose said, you will only evaporate into nothingness if that's what you believe. So I said, wait, I control this? She said, yes, look around. Everything stopped because you told it to stop. So I snapped my fingers and everything continued. She said, that's what I've been trying to tell you. This is you. Everything that's happening is happening inside of you right now. She said, there's lots of turmoil inside of you. Look around. She said, that's turmoil inside of you. She said, you're struggling right now between dealing with the realities in the objective world and the darkness. There's the objective world right here. There's darkness right here. And this is the spiritual realm of light right here. And she said, you are skipping over the spiritual realm of light and you are teetering between these two constructs. And you're overlooking the light from within. So everyone now is back in their state of animation. And now I'm looking down over the cliff, over the edge of the cliff, miles down, and I'm seeing this body of chaos, light, everything just merging into itself, going in and out of itself. And I was grounded, so I no longer can fly. So I say, you know what? If I control this, I'm going to jump. So I jumped and I'm screaming on my way down. Screaming. And Purpose is right with me. And I'm like, what's going to happen? And she didn't say anything. I'm like, what's going to happen? And I'm watching other people that are below me getting ready to hit this bridge that was between chasm above and a chasm below, but people that fell into this orb of glowing light, like a liquid light, they disintegrated, and those who tried to get out of the light fell into the darkness of nothingness. And so I told myself, so I'm falling at this point, just falling, screaming. And I told myself, I have to land at the right trajectory. And then I realized I can stop everything. So I tried to stop everything as I once did when I was on land, and nothing stopped. Everything just kept going. I'm just falling, and I'm watching everyone fall through that pot, that space aberration that should not have existed, that should not be there. Maybe it should have been there. And it's just this lava color, and it's just blending, light and chaos merging together, and darkness swooping inside of it, and everything is just colliding with each other. And Purpose said, this is your creation. Create what you want. She said, you can create the end and the beginning. She said, create the end. And I'm like, create the end? She said, yeah, create the end. So when you go through, you become what you saw yourself as. So before I entered this space bowl of golden liquid light, before I fell through it, I told myself what I wanted to be. I said, listen, I'm not in hell, and I'm going to come out of that space as my highest, most transcendent and perfect self-expression. And I fell through that portal. And when I fell through it, I felt a feeling that I'd never felt before. So let me go back. Before all of that happened, while in the dream, I knew I was dreaming, and I felt like darkness was just overpowering me. Like I can literally feel myself shaking and trembling in my bed, like my physical body, my real self on planet Earth, like in California. And I felt like this darkness was just coming, and I couldn't stop it. And I'm like, no. It's not going to end like this. Not going to end like this. This can't be the end of me. And I know I'm dreaming, but in my physical state, like this is literally happening to me. And I keep seeing that light, and I keep seeing that if I can only fall into that space, that golden liquid light that was emanating from chaos and the darkness, that I would come out on the other side as a renewed me. And so now I'm falling, and I went through this pot of yellow, golden light in space. I fell through, and I felt myself come out on the other side. And the first thing that I did was look for Purpose. I'm like, Purpose, did you make it with me? Where are you? Because Purpose was falling and was with me the entire time. And Purpose was no longer there. A hint of sadness came over me. And all of a sudden, a hint of joy came over me. And I'm like, why am I so joyful that Purpose is not with me? And then I heard from within my being, I am here. I am inside you now. I live within you. I've always lived within you. But you were looking without for Purpose, and all you saw were disharmony, chaos, disorder, fear, anxiety, worry, lack, turmoil, pandemonium, confusion. Now that you have come through the other side, what do you feel? And I said, I feel blissful. I feel grateful. So when I came out the other side, I emerged as I saw myself coming out like in a lotus position with my hand on my head like this. So I was in lotus position and my hands were on my head like this. And I emerged as this golden being, and light is just emanating from every cell of my body. And Purpose is within me telling me, it is done. I'm like, it is done. She said, yes. You have now become one with God. I'm like, okay. But what does that mean? She said, you have now transcended into your higher self-expression. She said, you have become your full and complete you. She said, live from that state. And the dream ended. So in this dream, I knew I was dreaming the entire time. And I did not stop it. I'm not sure that I could. And when I woke up, I asked myself, what did I do before going to sleep that led to me having this dream? And I had my phone next to my pillow, as I normally do, to listen to Neville Goddard as I enter into the sleep state. But I didn't listen to him. I just had my phone on my earbuds next to me on the bed, and I did not listen to anything. But before I went to bed, I sat in bed and read from a book called The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. And right after that, I told myself that I was going to do some visualization treatment to attract and manifest the life that I want in the physical, objective world. And while I was doing my visualization treatment, I must have slumbered into sleep. And that's when I started dreaming of what I just shared with you. And when I woke up, I asked myself, Joe, what's the meaning of this dream? And I understood what it meant. I think I'll read this. This is the book, The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. In it, Neville says, the first step in the renewing of the mind is desire. You must want to be different and intend to be before you can begin to change yourself. Then you must make your future dream a present fact. You do this by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Here's the part that resonated with me, and this is what I saw as a vivid expression of the dream. Neville says, just as the moth, in his desire to know the flame, was willing to destroy himself, so must you, in becoming a new person, must be willing to die to your present self. So in this dream, the old self that was running from darkness and stuck between darkness and chaos that self had to die along with all of the entities that came from me, that existed from me, all of those entities that represented myself pushed out, that old self, that old paradigm had to die in order for me to be renewed into the person I desired to be. So when I emerged from the golden liquid light as this God being, I'd become a new person. In that dream, I became a new person. When I woke up, I felt myself as a new person, no longer entangled and ensnared by the senses, the physical senses, or the facts of the objective world. No longer am I going to allow what I see on the outside to define what I desire to be, what I desire to do, and what I desire to have. My entire construct, my entire reality will be defined by my highest and most perfect self-expression. And that's to become and live as my best self always, attracting only the good that I desire to be, do, and have, my infinite supply of good. So just as the moth is willing to destroy himself in the flame, so must you be willing to die to the old self to be renewed into your most transcendent self, your highest self-expression, your most perfect self-expression. Heaven and hell are states of consciousness. God is the presence of good inside of you, the potential of good inside of you. That's what God is. Hell is disharmony, chaos, disruption, anything that interferes with the noble person that you are. Heaven is a transcendent state of being that represents perfect good, infinite good, increase, abundance, overflow, total well-being, wealth, happiness, love, success, and prosperity. What do you want to be? Who do you see yourself as? What matters most to you? Whatever you affirm within, you're going to awaken without. So whatever you affirm, you're going to awaken. Whatever you deem as true will become your reality. Whatever follows I am, that's what you will become. It's inevitable. I am wealth will be followed by wealth. I am happy will be followed by happiness. I am joyful will be followed by joy. I am healthy will be followed by health. Whatever follows I am, you become. I just thought I needed to share with you this experience that I had. This encounter was like none other that I've ever experienced in my life. And to say that it was life-changing is an understatement. I feel like a transformed person, a new person. I feel like I'm just living new beginnings every single moment. And I wish the same for you as well. This world is yours, and you can design it after your aim, your definite major purpose, your dreams, your desires. You can become that which you wish to be if you persist in the state of believing that you are your best self. There isn't anyone like you. There can never be another like you. Whatever you wish to be that in your imagination, in your own wonderful human imagination. Whatever you wish to have that thing from within, and it will be expressed without in the objective world. Whatever you wish to do, see yourself as already living that accomplished fact. Go to the end and live from the wish fulfilled. And a bridge of incident will appear in your reality in the physical realm that will bring the not yet and the already into the present, into a most blissful reality. Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the sweater. I am pleased with the product. I'm pleased with the completed project. And I'm going to make a size that's a little smaller than this one. This one, it's larger than my body frame, and it would actually fit someone of a larger body frame real nicely. And overall, I'm happy. I'm excited with it. And thank you for being a part of this journey with me from the beginning till now. And stay blessed, guys. I love y'all. And remember, whatever follows I am, you become. Peace.